So my name's Darian Nasvogel. We're going to go ahead and get started really quick. I'm going to introduce myself and the other speakers. We're here to do real-world case studies today, so we got some interesting stuff for you guys. So you know me already. And we have here Samir Banger and Guadalupe Camacho from the Real World Stories team. They're going to talk to you in a little bit in a second. Before I let you... Before we get to the stuff that you guys came for, I'm going to talk through just some general housekeeping and some Microsoft plugs for some other exciting programs that we have. So start with just meeting guidelines, all pretty straightforward stuff here. We'll put all the recordings and the slides will be available at this Microsoft Cat AI webinars, which you'll get the link for that in just a second. And also, session is open for everyone. This is external session, no NDAs or anything like that. So please be aware of that. If you don't speak about anything that's sensitive to you, your company, anything like that. We ask that, ironically, I'm sorry, but please avoid adding any note-taking agents to the chat. A couple other things. Poll questions. We welcome all questions. We do polls is a little bit different than, no, I'm sorry, not polls. Polls. So we'll share the link for the polls when we run that. It's a little bit different than we previously do it. We used to give you like one link. Now we have every time we run the poll, we'll share a link in the chat. So you'll see those pop up. And then also, if you want to raise your hand or ask questions, we ask that you do that at the end. You can feel free to communicate and ask questions in the chat. We'll try to get to them if we can, but otherwise we'll do hand raises at the end and we'll answer questions that way. And then the last one's super obvious. Just have a good time, be respectful, all that good stuff. So just like I said, some plugs coming for Microsoft programs. We did some Agent 365 webinars, which are just specified to Agent 365. We have all those recordings available at those links, and I'm going to paste those right now. So also Cat AR webinars. These are more just the general webinars. We have one coming up on March 11th, March 18th, and we also have a lot more exciting ones that we just posted last night that are going to be coming on in April. So please go check those out. And Kickstarter workshops are kind of like a complimentary program or another complement that the CAT team puts on. We offer workshops on agent value, adoption, and envisioning and governance. So it's a great way to kind of get different things to help you or your company figure out how you can kind of adopt some of the programs and get them moving, figure out a vision for how you might want to implement the tools. And we also put on architecture boot camps, which are basically designed to help you. You send your architects from your companies, and we train them up on how to architect and implement the tools in your company, so that you need minimal to no use from less depend. It'll give you more freedom and less dependence on like external consultants and things like that. So it's a great thing to check out. Again, like I said, I'll put these links in the chat in just a second. And then this is just, like I said, we're going to do some polling, a couple of quick polls later on in just a couple minutes. We ask, please help us out with, we'd like to see your engagement. It really helps the teams that are here to kind of figure out what's on your mind. We're trying to beat this last one we had, this 55 responses that was 50% response rate. We're trying to beat that. So please help us with the polls and let us know what you think when we run those. And so with that being said, I'm going to hand things over to Guadalupe, who's going to do some introductions and talk about the companies that are here to talk to you guys today.
Sure. Thank you. So my name is Guadalupe Camacho. I'm part of our engineering organization, contributing to community building and storytelling initiatives. So we work closely with our Fast Track team and CAT teams. So I'm glad to have everyone here, and thank you for joining us today. So we're excited to welcome you to this special session featuring real-world customer stories. First, Carlos and Manuel will share how Tienda Cuadra has implemented agentic solutions. Cuadra is a fashion retailer from Guanajuato, Mexico. So they partnered with Algoritmo to transform customer service using Microsoft Copilot Studio. So they were able to launch an AI-powered agent that provides 24-hour support. And then next, we'll also have Delano and Ayush from Templafy. So they're going to share an ISV perspective on helping enterprises move from AI experimentation to execution. So they're going to discuss how customers combine Copilot Studio and Power Automate with strong governance and document intelligence to scale AI safely and deliverable measurable business value. So each story includes practical, ready to apply lessons that you can use right away. So thank you all speakers. It's a pleasure to have you here. So we'll definitely go ahead and get started. And before we move forward, Samir, would you like to just do a quick introduction of yourself as well?
Oh, this is great, folks. I'm Samir on the same team with Lupe. I'll be back to moderate the Q&A at the end. So as we're going along, a quick plug, please post any questions in the chat. We'll request our speakers, they might answer it already in the chat, or we'll bring it on mic. And then we also have an opportunity for folks to raise their hands and, for you to ask questions. But these are some of my favorite sessions in the month. So huge thank you again to all our speakers, and let's dive into it.
All right, so now we'll go to our presentation with Manuel Peña and Carlos Damian. So they're ready to discuss about Tienda Cuadra and their journey with the agentic solution. So over to you.
Thanks, Lupe. Okay, thank you very much for the introduction. And well, let's talk about a little bit of our company. So in Algoritmo IT, we focus on delivering advanced IT solutions that drive digital transformation and improve operational efficiency. And in this collaboration with Tienda Cuadra, our objective was not simply to implement technology, but to design an agentic solution capable of enhancing customer engagement while supporting the premium omnichannel strategy. And today we're really excited to share how this vision translated into a real-world solution using Copilot Studio and the Power Platform. Okay, so here we can see the technologies we implemented for the solution. In the left side, we have the primary customer-facing agent, which is the agent Atlas. Basically, this agent is the one that interacts directly with customers, handling inquiries and guiding them through the different process. Then we have the product set agent, which is basically a secondary task-oriented agent, specifically designed to support product set creation. And then on the right side, we can see at the center, Copilot Studio orchestrating the agents. On the top, we can see that we have Dynamics 365, which is basically used to manage tickets and customer data. On the left side, we can see the Power Automate logo, which basically acts as the execution layer and essentially is the operational arm of the agent. On the right side, we can see the logo of Shopify, since Tienda Cuadra uses this platform as an e-commerce, and we embedded this agent on the public website they currently own. Down, we can see the WhatsApp logo, which it's basically one of the communication channels we are implementing right now. And on the right side, we have the ChatGPT or the GPT or OpenAI logo. And with this, we basically want to mention that we use it to leverage capabilities for image generation. At Cuadra, we built an agent to improvise who connect with your customers. It's an intelligent assistant that gives faster and more natural response. It reflects your brands and our values. Our goal is simple: better service, strong smart technology. Okay, so here we have illustrated the two phases we are integrating to this agent. So the first phase was we started it on the last year, and basically it culminated with the official launch in early December. Right now, we are working on the second phase, is the stage where we are working on right now. And for the first stage, the idea was really clear, was to reduce the friction in customer support. And we deployed this agent on the e-commerce of Tienda Cuadra with the basic capabilities such as order status tracking and ticket creation for customer issues. And for the second phase, we move beyond transactional automation and introduce more advanced capabilities, including image-based product recognition and product set creation based on customer uploaded image. This represents a big shift from support automation to value creation and enhancing product discovery and customer engagement. Now let's talk a little bit about the architecture. Basically, at the top layer, we have Microsoft Copilot Studio for the conversational and orchestration layer, where basically customers have these conversations and are managed, and their intents are interpreted. When some actions are required, the agent triggers Power Automate flows, which serves as the automation layer. Power Automate is responsible for case creation and routing logic. And all of this runs on Dynamics 365 Customer Service, which acts as the CRM and system of record. Cases are linked to existing customer records, and all of customer data is securely stored in Dataverse. Okay, just to give you guys a brief explanation of what's going on, we will see a video of how a user or a customer can track an order status and how he or she can create a ticket for any customer issues. Right here, we can see it's really simple. We have a chat, and we have a couple of starting options. And if you press the one for the order status, then you have to send your order ID or order number, and then share your email, which is associated with your order, so that we can provide the information. If the email is not linked to the order, then the agent won't share any information because it might be sensible, or we can risk the products of the customers, so we don't want that. And here we have this example. So the first example we saw with the DHL was basically a order in process of being delivered. And now we're looking at another order request, and we'll see what the agent does and what information shares. Here's another example where the information is not available, maybe because of the email is not compatible with the order ID. We can also see that the agent always tries to make sure that the email is associated with the actual order. And in this case, the agent detected that there was a problem, and maybe the ID is not real, or the email does not match with the order. So here we are looking at the process of uploading a ticket or generating a new ticket. Basically, it asks if you have an order, and then if you have an order, you add the order number, and then it will ask you for information about what's going on or what is the problem, and that's how we upload or generate a new ticket. Then we ask for the preferred contact way. We can use phone call, WhatsApp, or via email. And we ask the customer to share this preference. And now this is the demo for the product recognition. Basically, this is on phase 2. And the demo will show you how a customer can share the image of one of our products and then produce a set of clothing, accessories, etc., so that the customer can go to the Tienda Cuadra or the shop and purchase this set and build the whole set to look great or better. So first, the agent asks for the image, and then we ask for an email so that we can send the email to the customer and give him his new set. We can see it right now on screen. This is the new image generated with AI so that the customer can look for more products and be interested not only in the boots, but maybe on a new jacket, on a new hat, on a new purse, etc. And now we have this like comparison on screen. On the left side, we gave the customer some links to actual products that he can go and purchase to build this set on his own. And here's a comparative of the products on Tienda Cuadra and the AI image we generated for the customer so that he can be interested in more products. Okay, and now we can move on to the key takeaways. So to close, I would like to highlight a few takeaways from our experience. First, AI is only truly valuable when it is integrated into business processes. A standalone agent does not create impact, but integration does. Second, when agents collaborate, you move from simple automation to intelligent workflows. And third, the way you design orchestration, automation, and data access directly impacts scalability and credit consumption. And for the advice, I think this one is really straightforward. Monitor credit consumption from day one. This is really important because you can have many problems if you don't do this right. Optimize how and when you use AI builders and automation tools. Avoid unnecessary loops or redundant task executions. And ultimately, innovation happens when creativity meets the right technology, but it also requires governance, architectural discipline, and clear business objective. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, I'd like to take this opportunity right now to thank you very much, Manuel and Carlos. This is super exciting to see. It's an absolutely wonderful example of a great agent solution. And Tienda Cuadra has modernized its customer experience by deploying an AI-powered virtual assistant that was built with Microsoft Copilot Studio and Power Platform. So it's able to provide always service support across its e-service business. So it's great to see this. And again, this is just a reminder, we're happy to receive your insightful questions. So be sure to add them to the chat. We'll definitely include them as part of the Q&A panel. So definitely submit your questions and we'll select them for discussion. So now it is time to go to our next presentation. It is my pleasure to introduce our next speakers, Delano Hinson and Ayush Agarwal from Templafy. It's a global software company providing AI-powered document generation and content management platform that helps enterprises. Over to you.
Wonderful. Lupe, thank you so very much. I want to, first of all, take a moment to thank the entire Microsoft team for this gracious invitation. we're really excited to be able to present how we partner with and potentially in many ways help amplify Copilot. And so it's an exciting topic, and let's dive right in here. So if you don't mind going to the next slide, please. So I think that, it's highly topical that oftentimes as a lot of large organizations, enterprises are looking at their AI investments or looking to make AI investments. Oftentimes they're seeing a gap between what the AI can produce today and an ROI and how to figure that out. And the same pattern exists when it comes to leveraging AI for presentations and for business-ready deliverables. From our conversations with our customers, that we've kind of experienced that the gap falls into three categories. First, there's often a governance gap, things like brand standards and content rules and document structure and even trusted data isn't always or is rarely included into the process of using AI to generate a deliverable. The second category is the output variability. Some deliverables have extremely strict requirements. Others allow for more flexibility, and just using kind of standard AI doesn't allow for that level of variability that is required at the enterprise level. The third is workflow. We're increasingly seeing that where people want to start the process is a key consideration. Oftentimes, in the old world, everyone started from PowerPoint. Today, half of the time, people want to start from a chat interface or PowerPoint or an entirely different system like a CRM or some combination of all three, a chat interface inside of PowerPoint, for example. And so if you think about these as three circles in a Venn diagram, the center where they all overlap is where we're seeing the ROI live. What is Templafy? We're an AI-powered document generation platform. And what we just saw from the poll is very telling and congruent with a lot of our end customers. They're creating deliverables that deliver money to the organization. And our role, our purpose in life is to remove the cost and risk of document work and to transform every one of these deliverables into a vehicle of value. So it's not surprising at all that even in a small sample set for our poll, that the key use cases were revenue generating, value generating documents and deliverables on behalf of the organization and the teams that are responsible for generating that value, engaging with end customers, so forth and so on. And if you can just breeze through. So when it comes to our AI capabilities, the right way to think about this slide is that we offer the ability to increase the level of both instruction and context to meet the higher complexity needs of the deliverables. So we have a variety of different capabilities, but as our end customers need greater level of sophistication when it comes to data, when it comes to the instructions, the underlying instructions, we have the ability to increase our capability to meet their end requirements and their needs. But what you're seeing here is one of the other things, the third pillar, which is the flexibility. Not every single deliverable needs the greatest capabilities. Not every deliverable has data infused into it or needs high, deep levels of knowledge automated into it. Not every deliverable has incredibly strict structure. So think of this as in our capabilities as a meter to meet the requirements of the deliverable so that those that need to just be pumped out quickly, like an NDA, can be automated, and those that are generating significant value by distributing the depth of knowledge of the organization in a safe and brand compliant manner can also be met with automation, AI-driven automation capabilities. And then this is kind of where we start to demonstrate how we plug into Copilot Studio and how we work together. Really, the purpose of this slide is to just say that the output, the business-ready deliverables can be produced in PowerPoint, Word, PDF in seconds. We have a lot of different capabilities, but the output is really part of the workflow story. Where do people want to start? Not just that, but also how do people want to end? Do you want an end deliverable in a Word document or a PDF or a PowerPoint? All of those capabilities are available through Templafy. Next slide, please. And on this one, I'll hand it over to Ayush as a prerequisite for the demo that we're about to show you.
Thank you, Delano. So I always like to take a step back before we do any kind of demos. So we play in different areas of Copilot, and I just want to emphasize that. So starting from the left, the first bucket is brand and compliance that we bring within Copilot when you're in PowerPoint, for example. So if you have felt the pain when you're starting in PowerPoint sometimes, and if you don't have the right template or the right images that the Copilot 365 creates for you, we can provide that. The second bucket is where if there is best practice templates, for example, when people polled about proposals or engagement letters, you basically need the template to surface at the right time every time when you're conversing with the agent. We also guarantee that those templates are available right within Copilot through a declarative agent that can be pushed within PowerPoint or Word. Third bucket is where we will be focusing on today, where you already have a lot of context available. And let's say that there is an agent that can be connected to different systems. So Dynamics for your CRM, some information that needs to come from SharePoint, or some images that also are sitting there. The idea is how can we collate that information and put that into a nice structured document while the user just is conversing with the AI. So we'll be focusing on that third bucket after this. All right, so this is where this agent is, the deal documents agent. I am Rick, and I actually closed a client just today. And I want to actually create some documents that you generally see when you are closing a customer. So in this case, I want to actually create an engagement letter for my customer. And this customer is Alpine Ski. What would happen is the agent is giving me some suggestions. I'm telling the agent that I would need that engagement letter. The agent will actually go into Dynamics, pull in the information of what it has. And once I actually give it a thumbs up that I just did in here, it will talk to Templafy in the backend and give a structured document back as a URL. So it's giving me all that information that it created, and all I have to do as an end user is just make sure that it is correct. So as I can see here, I click that URL that I just got from Copilot. I can see what was the other information that Copilot was able to choose based on the information that it had. The other thing that is also happening is the user is also instructed where did the AI actually write some of the things based on the context provided. So this is a good example where you can see how the content was generated by AI, and we are just making sure that we are letting the user know that these are the specific parts where AI did AI things, and where a structured boilerplate text that you generally see with these kind of letters got added as well. So mixing the logic of rules-based automation plus using AI wherever needed in these type of documents. So this is a very quick example of how that got done. Now, the next video is how to actually do that within an admin center, or basically Copilot Studio. So please click play. Thank you. So here in Copilot Studio, you can create a flow, and that is what we have. I can go through my flows, add whatever instructions that I need to add. And once I'm ready with that, I just need to select the Templafy connector that I have, select what are the instructions and what is the context that I need to provide from my agent to this connector. And once that is all finalized, I can just assign my tool or my flow basically to this agent, and I will be done with that. So it's that simple. My guess is that there are already some workflows that you have already created within Copilot. And if you're looking to create a document outside of that, it would just be using that Templafy connector that we just went through. I will pass it over to Delano after for this one.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that, Ayush. And I just love seeing how the connector works and plugs into Copilot Studio. Purpose of this slide is simply to share that the capabilities, the different different organizations with different products, different business models, different sizes, different levels of regulation, scrutiny, data sensitivity, so forth and so on, are all leveraging Templafy's document generation capabilities to automate their deliverables that help their organizations generate value. So all of these organizations have decided that it was important for their professionals to be focused on higher value work and not on the manual process of creating documents. So they all went through the process of evaluating whether or not to build or buy a solution, then evaluating which was the right solution, and all came to the conclusion that Templafy's document orchestration capabilities served all of their different needs. So just wanted to give a little context in terms of the breadth of types of companies and industries that are leveraging us to deliver value to them. And here we're going to hear the voice of one of our customers. If you can go ahead and click play when you've...
ago, we created content from scratch. So I think Templafy is part of like a bigger movement in changing the way we work. And I think Templafy fits into that really well. So, 3 years ago, we created content from scratch. Now with Templafy, we click some buttons and we automate that process. But I think that's part of the bigger picture of what we're changing, which is with the Microsoft ecosystem, with Copilot and all the tools that are made available, we're shifting the way we work. We're shifting from creators to evaluators. And I think that Templafy fits perfectly into that. And I think as we enable our sellers into this new way of working, I want to include Templafy in that in a big, big way. When we're creating presentations, we use Templafy. When we're doing account research, we use Copilot. And, there are other tools that go along with that. So that the end state, right, is this world where Outlook, Dynamics, PowerPoint with Templafy are all AI-driven, and they are so much more tightly integrated. And that's actually when I think we reach the nirvana of so much of that 65% administrative work will be taken off the table.
Wonderful. I'm really happy we were able to get that working, because I think, Ayush and I can sit here and talk all day long, but nothing is as powerful as hearing one of our customers talk about how they've brought Templafy into their critical workflow streams and are using us in combination with Microsoft products and applications to automate their flows so that their employees, so that their workers can focus on higher order work streams and delivering outcomes to their customers. So key takeaways here, it's not easy to get documents to be generated it's easy to get documents to be generated by agents. The difficulty is making sure that those documents are business ready. Templafy augments Copilot's powerful agents with a lot of guardrails: context, content, data, structure, things of that nature. The intelligence layer, we're adding document intelligence, rules, templates, governance to Copilot agents through the Copilot Studio and building out easy workflows where you don't have to be a developer in order to develop them. And what that's doing is that's actually allowing customers to realize the ROI of their AI investments. And so, we'll kind of pause there, but looking forward to answering any questions or learning more about use cases that folks are trying to investigate.
All right. Thank you so much for that presentation. I appreciate all the content that you were able to present all the way through, Delano and Ayush. Very educational. It was great to see Templafy showcase how enterprises can move beyond AI experimentation to deliver business-ready documents at scale. And by combining Microsoft Copilot Studio, Power Automate, and having strong governance. So thank you so much.